Pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we stand for the national anthem of Jamaica, please? Thank you. Seated. We'll formally start this afternoon program by announcing the persons seated in front, and we're going to start in order of precedence as per the Jamaica Protocol. Firstly, we have the Honorable Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security. The Honorable Christopher Tufton, MP and Minister of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Jamaica. Seating beside him, we have Senator Janice Allen, Opposition Spokesperson on Tourism. Following along, we have His Worship, the Mayor of St. James, Councillor Mr. Richard Vernon, sorry. We have the Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the UWI Mona campus, Professor Denzel A. Williams, seated in front as well. Acting Deputy Principal of the Mona campus, Professor Marvin Reed, Deputy Principal. The Campus Registrar, UWI Mona campus, Dr. Donovan Stanbury, seated on the opposite side. The Deputy Campus Registrar, Mr. Jonathan Archie. The Deputy Campus Registrar, Mr. Jonathan Archie. Next we have the Campus Bursar, Mrs. Catherine Park-Thwaites, and Deputy Bursar, Mr. Roel Nelson. The Director of UWI Mona campus, I didn't see Dr. Prendergast. I think he's unavoidably absent. The deans of all the faculties that are represented here, other members of the university executive and campus management team, all UWI alumni, faculty, staff, and students of UWI, members of the St. James Health and Tourism community, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a warm Western Jamaica welcome to you all. I am Garfield Badal, Dr. Garfield Badal. I'm a pediatric surgeon, and I happily accepted the task of guiding us through this important global initiative launch here at the Western Campus, Montego Bay, Jamaica, on this the 25th day of June, 2024. I would like to thank the organizers for this distinguished opportunity to represent, by extension, the UWI Western Campus in this capacity here this evening. And I'm indeed grateful for our individual and collective blessings of opportunities and good health. This promises to be a very insightful event, and we anticipate that the shared experiences and remarks throughout this program will acutely put into vision the importance of the Global Health Initiative as one of the pillars towards meeting our millennial developmental goals. As I sat to go through the program, I wondered, and I think most of us could ask ourselves, what really is global health. Perhaps, we're the tourism capital for Jamaica, and if we only think back a few years ago, we had the pandemic. How does transcontinental travel impact our own health? Connectivity is very easy, but it has with it some consequences. Now, what are the pillars of global health initiative programs, and how those may impact with us achieving the millennial developmental goals? As I go along, I may want to expand a little bit on that, but to get the program started in terms of the opening remarks, I'm firstly going to invite our Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Mona Campus, Professor Denzel A. Williams, to make his opening remarks. Help me welcome him. Thank you.
Sorry, this one? Okay. A decade ago, Patricia Newball would remember we launched an important program here. The chairperson the speaker was Mr. William Mahfood. Mr. Mahfood got to the podium, and when he saw the list of protocol people and he started going through, he made a remark that the protocol list is longer than his speech. Well, today, I do not intend for that list to be longer than my speech. And so, I will say I stand on the protocols that have been established by our distinguished chairman, but it would still be remiss of me not to recognize a few very distinguished members among us today. Let me firstly acknowledge and recognize Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister, and the man in charge. This is his hometown. This is your constituency minister, yes? So I'm sure you will welcome us here. Actually, you should speak before me to welcome us here. But thank you very much. Let me also recognize and acknowledge Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness, and we want to say a special thank you to Minister Tufton, who has taken the time from his sick bed to be with us today. But we really appreciate the time and effort that you have taken to be here, and we look forward to hearing from you, Minister. We know that this is very special to you. Let me also recognize Senator Janice Allen, Opposition spokesperson on tourism, His Worship the Mayor of St. James, Councillor Richard Vernon, Acting Deputy Principal, Professor Marvin Reed, Campus Registrar, Dr. Stan Berry, and Deputy Registrar, Mr. Jonathan Archie, Campus Bursar, Mrs. Park Stwaits, and Deputy Bursar, Mr. Ruel Nelson, all the deans and members of the campus and university executive teams, members of the management team, UWI alums, distinguished faculty, staff, and students at the UWI, members of the St. James Health and Tourism community, members of the media, and other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Now, that's a mouthful, but let me all welcome you this evening to this very, very important launch. Now, the fear that I have is that 15 years ago, this was my home on a Saturday and a Sunday, and I would start from 7 a.m. in the morning. Sandra March is here, yes? I would start from 7 a.m. and I go to 6 p.m. and I have a mic in front of me at a stage. So you may be in a little bit of bother if I should continue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that you recognize I'm not lecturing, but I was asked to give some opening remarks, okay? So it is in that vein that I want to acknowledge what is on the program, to say a few words of opening remarks, and say how pleased we are this evening to be launching this exceptionally important initiative, which we call our Global Health Initiative for our UWI Mona campus. Now, today is not just about medicine. It is indeed about the building of a new economic sector, the knowledge sector in Western Jamaica, using higher education as the driver. While we will be building the human capital in all areas having to do with healthcare, training of nurses, physicians, imaging specialists, and all those things that have to do with healthcare, we're opening up a new economic sector, the knowledge economy, with all the attendant services, housing, professors, lab specialists, entertainment, and all those transportation that will make this city, Dr. Chang, a vibrant hub for innovation, and at the same time, increasing the wealth of the citizens in these areas as well. But a question may be asked, why did we choose the Western campus to launch this very important initiative for our UWI? In the Western Jamaica, we have an emerging health corridor in this area. We have the Cornwall Regional Hospital being upgraded. We have Children's Hospital is being built next to the Cornwall Regional Hospital. We have the Falmouth Hospital. We have Hospital and other areas that are adding to the room stock in the healthcare sector. We have to recognize, importantly, that all of these infrastructure will need servicing. Further, we also have right across the road an excellent airlift at MBJ. So the learners who are coming to our global health program can hop into their classrooms, do their studies, and on the weekend, they can hop out. And they can come back and do their studies as they like. So, we are here today with a global brand, the UWI brand, as the only university in the Caribbean within the top 1% in Latin America and the top 3% in the world, bringing our expertise to the global marketplace to not only generate sustainable revenue for our campus, but to assist global humanity to cure the global shortage of healthcare workers, which, as some predicted, Dr. Tufton, that by 2030, we will have a shortage of roughly 10 million people in terms of skill sets in the global health sector. But why do we also go there? We go there because as a campus and as a university, we have 75 years of history and experience in medical education. So it is unsurprising, therefore, that we are leveraging these experiences to globalize our offering at our campus. With the partnership of our regulatory bodies, our government, and other stakeholders, UWI Mona Global Health Agenda will make a marked difference in the lives of many persons around the globe. And also, we will bring added revenue to our campus to assist our transformation and growth as an activist academy working for the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, today it is very clear. A global brand going to a global market. A brand that has enough gravitas in the global marketplace, as is manifested in our rankings in Times Higher Education, the most prestigious ranking agencies to rank universities in the world. It's not something that we take for granted, that given our resources and our capabilities and our contextual environment, that we are ranked in the top 3% of universities in the world. According to the United Nations, there are over 30,000 institutions that offer certificate degrees and diplomas. And for us to be in the top 3%, it deserves celebration. And so, we are leveraging our brand, and we are leveraging our experiential knowledge in medical education, which, as you all know by now, since you're all friends of the UWI, that when we started 76 years ago, we started with 33 medical students. It was not by accident that we started with medicine as our anchor discipline. And today, we are exceptionally proud, Dean Thame, of where the medical education has gone. It is a world beater, and we should be proud of what our medics have done. So with those experiences and with our brand, it is abundantly clear to me that we have academic capital. And it is that academic capital that we are willing to spend so that we can transform lives and transform our university. Welcome to the launch of our global health programs, and I also wish everyone well for the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Mike? Thank you so very much, Professor Williams, for those very keen remarks. It started with the general idea of us understanding what our academic capital is, and certainly that is something that we'll all embrace, certainly as part of the university. I may just want to just make some quick announcements, or acknowledgements rather. Considering where the university is and how we are strategically located, and also the mandate for the University of the West Indies West, this campus, it is very community-centered, and therefore, on that vein, I'm just going to try and just correct or add to the acknowledgements. Ms. Janet Silvera, who has joined us here this evening. Janet, there you are. I just want to acknowledge as well, she's a friend and alumnus of this campus. We also have the Chamber President, Mr. Oral Heavens, in our midst. Thank you for being here, sir. And Mr. Robin Russell, who is President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, who came in a little bit late. Where is he? Mr. Russell, yes, there you are. And lastly, with Ms. Nadine Spence, JHTA West representative. So bear with me as we try to, you know, the university is one arm, but certainly we have to embrace the community. So thank you all for being here. The next remark comes from our Deputy Prime Minister, who has graciously arrived early, and the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang. Help me welcome him for his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I think I've done all the protocol introduction, but I think I have responsibility, and I have to recognize a few. First, let me recognize my colleague, Cabinet Member and Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton. Good to see you there, sir. Don't put too much stress on the leg. Valiant will appreciate that. Right? Senator Janice Allen, my good friend. No, but you got to blame me though. Good to have you as usual, Senator Allen, and his worship Mayor Councillor Vernon, and our earlier speaker, Professor Denzel Williams, our Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Boulder campus, and many of the university colleagues here, the leadership team, Professor Marvin Reed, I see the Professor, no, not Professor again, I know you have that already, Shar, and a number of other members of the university team coming in the West. It's my job this evening primarily not so much greeting, but to welcome the entire team to Western Jamaica and to the Western campus, which happens to sit in the middle of my constituency, the great constituency of Northwest St. James. Right, Ms. Allen? And in welcoming the team here, to commend the University of the West Indies in launching the UWI Global Health Program launch. It's commendable not only for doing here in the West, but the concept of leveraging the academic capital of the university, I think is welcome, and I think is something that should be looked at by other areas of service in the country, because brand Jamaica is a strong brand, and that's why Montego Bay is a center of tourism, but that has become, I can't take for granted that we are a resort center, and we market our country, our island, as a place for holidaying, but the fact is that Montego Bay is ideally located to be a center of services, and this can include education and health and other activities. And we boast of our talent in many areas over the years, but it's the first time I think anyone has really taken the brand and the quality of the brand to leverage it effectively. We have spoken about it a lot in the government. I mean, there have been programs were launched by various ministries, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, speaking about Brand Jamaica, but we have never really taken it in a very strong way to the world, globally, and to seek to leverage it to earn the income from it. A good brand is maybe the most valuable asset and the most valuable property you can have, more than just natural assets. And the world is moving in a different direction. Yes, it is good when you're a big country and you have all the raw materials. Jamaica is a small island state, as we described. You'll not be able to get into, we'll never have the kind of volume of iron ore or get into manufacturing for motor cars and engines and that kind of activity to become a major manufacturing center and heavy manufacturing center and create a market. We don't have the marketplace for that. What we do have is quality, intellect, creativity, talent, or human resource. And we have to leverage that in order to develop the wealth of our country and create the kind of atmosphere for the ecosystem in which we can have genuine prosperity for all and for the entire country. And I therefore think the university deserves full commendation. My colleague will speak more to it in the particular area, but for leveraging the academic capital of the university. UWI has a long history to develop early as a regional institution, but has certainly developed as a high-quality academic institution. And we have been able to protect that value and protect its quality. And it is, as we face the challenge of the cost of education in a new order, but also to face the challenge of development. As we move into what is termed the fourth industrial age, we need intellectual property, and that's what we have to now leverage, and the ideal institution to do that is the University of West Indies. I want to commend Professor Denzel Williams, with whom once I had a brief discussion with on the same matter in another forum, but he must be commended for initiating this, because it's not only will bring the university to another level and take our brand globally and earn the university income and credits and ultimate intellectual property rights, patents, etc., to work in the field and do research as required, but it is also laid on example that there are many other things that have value Jamaica brand that can be leveraged to increase the wealth of the country. We speak about a lot, but unfortunately we operate, as some would say, in industry. And my friend would say that we do a lot. We are a great country for samples. So we have the best coffee, we have the best, almost anything you name. Jamaica's quality is considered almost the best and exotic, but we have never been able to expand them and develop them to the level where we can earn the kind of income that we should. Well, the university in initiating that, I hope not only is establishing the brand UWI to be a much more economically viable institution and provide the country with quality professionals at all levels, and of course meet the demand for the health services, which is a growing service and which itself could become a marketable product if we get the volume in place and the services in place. My colleague will of course speak of what is happening in Corner region. When it's completed, you'll have maybe the finest teaching hospital in the region. Despite all the hiccups we made, at 750 rooms with the only children's hospital, which is not just children, it's juvenile and pediatric and young adults, along with the general hospital. You'll have a fantastic facility for training, and that can be leveraged not only for the global brand, but for all providing services that could be required in the region. But I said a small island developing state, we are relatively a small market, and the key is to develop talent that can be exported easily. We export our music, but we could do much more. And in the modern world, the creative talent can be, you can make films, you can write books, you can do other things with Brand Jamaica from our cultural side of activity. We're doing enough, we're proud of it, but we're not leveraging it in a way that, except for a few of our artists. Similarly, our sports and our university develop a good sport field, but we could do a lot more in coaching, training, and basically developing the entire service here. And we can name quite a few other things where what we can say without any debate and assert the creative talent of Jamaica is unlimited. We have our problems like any society. A small and developing states are so overwhelming, but if we look at our people and examine carefully evolution of society, this country is is full of talent, creative talent, and if managed well, leveraged well, it will provide the basis for development in the 21st century. And that's the route we have to go. So I want to really extend not only a welcome to the university. This is our campus, but the leadership of the university, Dr. Williams, Professor Marvin Reed, and others who are here today to launch a global health program, but to commend you for the effort and to wish that you lay the kind of, not only the foundation, but provide the example that others will follow. And not only others outside of the university, but of course the professionals you're training will see the leadership of the university as a model to follow. Indeed, in the modern world, much of the technological advancement has come from around universities. When you look at North America, each time you look at a center for development, there's the kind of New England, Boston, Harvard, and there's Stanford in the West, and a number of other areas which has evolved in modern times, evolved around outstanding education institutions. I think we have to now take a look at how that's evolving and allow the university to lead in that direction. We are, of course, including, we come from the Anglo-Saxon tradition, which was a bit more conservative and saw intellect not so much as an area for business development. It was a learning experience, and the academia was kind of relatively isolated. You stayed in Cambridge and Oxford and enjoyed a good life, and they would invent things, but most time they send it out to the commercial world in London and off. The Americans changed that, but also the modern demands and the creative talent of the modern world changed the whole of that. You could not have the creative potential of the universities being confined to universities, and all that's evolving in the digital world. And we think it would be a good time to look at how the university will in fact lead in this way. They started as a medical school, and of course it's a good thing to develop a solid reputation. University standing in the international community is still heavily dependent on the work they did, and they did outstanding research, sometimes not often recognized in areas from sickle cell was known at one time. We still don't speak about the globe, but that was the research in areas like sickle cell was outstanding, came through the University of the West Indies. I think today we don't speak of it often, but things like diabetes. The Ministry of Health has this program on chronic diseases, but lifestyle disease, but the work done and research in diabetes was led by the University of the West Indies. In fact, even the general practitioner had patients going to New York, living in the United States, and they would come home twice a year to have me, just to be examined for diabetic problems and to be treated for the diabetes, because they were not meeting doctors who related very well, because it was largely a black disease in the United States. And that's something that sometimes we don't speak about as a fact. The more in recent times has changed, but that kind of disease, although which was dominant in the black population, was not being looked at with the kind of academic discipline required until very late on. The university was ahead of the game, and therefore you'd have Jamaicans. I remember the last few I had, when I stopped practicing, I found doctors in New York who were Jamaican. I said, look, go visit these doctors. They were trained in Jamaica. And there are other areas, I think, Professor Marvin Reed can speak about. There are many areas which the university has pioneered quality work. So it is good to see us leading to market that brand, and I wish you success. I'm sure the ecosystem in Montego Bay will help. It's quite a nice place to come and study, as I said. And, you study hard, but you play hard sometimes too. So it is good to be able to spend a weekend, and after the exam is finished, you can go on doctor's game and spend a day or elsewhere and have a good time. Indeed, I had a recent discussion with somebody from the state of Kerala. I think they renamed it in southeastern India. It is the center of Indian cyber development. The entire technology era has come out of Bangalore. They are as prosperous and as strong as Stanford in the Silicon Valley, United States, just about. And the lady just said to me, well, we work hard, we learn a lot, but we play hard and party a lot. So we are known for good quality academic, good quality entertainment. I think Montego Bay can reflect, can even do better than that. So Dr. Williams, Professor Williams, welcome to Montego Bay. We're good to have you here, and good to have you launch your health program here. And Dr. Tufton, I know you're close to this as well. You watch it evolve. You will need a little more time before you start playing hard, but we want to have you down here, all right? Again, to the entire university community, not only welcome, as I said, wishing you well, and look forward to give you all the support we can in ensuring that your global health program is a true pioneer in leveraging Jamaica's academic capital and also bringing out the creative potential of our people. Good to have you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Chang, for those really inspiring remarks. The Jamaican capital is real, and globally, even in health, we've made our significant marks. So you highlighted those. And of course, the social, the political, support for global initiatives of this nature, very important. And therefore, we commend your presence here this evening and to wish us well in the success of this rather unique initiative for Western Jamaica. Bear with me a little, audience, in terms of I need to make a few more recognitions during the break that was highlighted for my attention. We have Dr. Michelle Pinnock here, who is a regional educator, well known to us here in Montego Bay. We have our Custos David Stair, medical doctor, on the last seat on the front row. Dr. Stair, welcome. Additionally, from the University Hospital of the West End, we want to acknowledge Dr. Carl Bruce, who is the head of the medical team there. Welcome. And the CEO, Mr. Michel, I think. Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this unique initiative. At this point, we're going to move along, and we'll have opening remarks from His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Vernon. Could you join us, please? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chairman Badal, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister, Senator, Pro Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let me officially welcome you to the city of Montego Bay and greet you on behalf of the St. James Municipal Corporation. As Mayor, I'm particularly pleased with this initiative because having internalized the intent of the program, I realize that there's much to gain through capacity development. And as a small island developing state, one of our main challenges that we have had for many years is institutional capacity. So while we invest billions into the construction of Cornwall Regional Hospital and the many health centers that we're constructing, we need them to be filled with quality, with competence, so that we can deliver and be productive as a nation. So I'm happy to see that, and we endorse it at the St. James Municipal Corporation, fully endorse it. We also have to look at what is happening in our political economy, and to make it a knowledge-driven one, we have to continue to localize the Sustainable Development Goals, and to do so, we must include the universities, and that is why we have made this commitment, and I've said it many times to Chamber President, that we have to revisit the initiative that we started some time ago, and we are going to do it this year. We are definitely going to restart the Research and Development Committee at the St. James Municipal Corporation, one that seeks to achieve the triple helix approach, which you shift from the political economy to add knowledge, so the university, the state, and corporate, so that we can be more productive as a municipality. So this initiative is welcome, and we're happy to have it in this neck of the woods. So thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so very much, Mayor. Very important, the pillars of global health lies in research. And as I looked at the whole topic, a lot of even the nomenclature, global health, had very inconsistent acceptance across various learned bodies over the years. And it's through collaboration and high-level meetings that really a consensus was reached and accepting global health as an important branch of science, of medicine, and public health in particular. So it is very important that we continue the research in university to make this a success. Thank you so much for those words, His Worship. Senator Janice Allen, our opposition spokesperson on tourism, at this point will give her opening remarks. Help me welcome her. Thank you.
Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Minister Christopher Tufton, very good to see you. Obviously, our neighboring Custos, Dr. Stair, Mayor of Montego Bay, who I seem to spend a lot of time with and probably will spend more. Professor Williams, I might not be a graduate of the University of the West Indies, and because of that, it's the reason for this color. That's the only reason. Good evening, everyone. Honored guests, esteemed colleagues, members of the University of the West Indies community, and other distinguished participants. I'm very pleased to bring greetings at the launch of the UWI Global Health Programs Initiative. As the opposition spokesperson on tourism and linkages, I am very delighted to be here. Firstly, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor Marvin Reed, Deputy Acting Principal, for your kind invitation. Your dedication in advancing the health and wellness through education and research is indeed commendable. Today marks a significant milestone in our collective journey towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, as outlined by the United Nations. Health and wellness are not mere aspirations. They're fundamental necessities of sustainable development. As we gather here to launch these pioneering global health programs, we are taking a decisive step towards ensuring that every individual has the opportunity to lead a healthy, productive, and fulfilling life. As the spokesperson on tourism, I am acutely aware of the intrinsic link between health and tourism. The wellness of our population is critical to the vibrancy and resilience of our tourism industry. Tourists seek destinations that not only offer breathtaking landscapes and rich cultural experiences, but also those that prioritize health and safety of their residents and visitors alike. Looking towards the future of Jamaica's tourism, we envision a vibrant and sustainable industry, thriving in the health and well-being of its people. Imagine a Jamaica where lush landscapes and pristine beaches are complemented by a robust healthcare system, attracting tourists for both our natural beauty and the assurance of safety and wellness. The UWI MONA Global Health Programs Initiative will play a critical role in this vision by fostering a healthier population and advancing medical research and education. This initiative will enhance our reputation as a destination that prioritizes both the well-being of its citizens, and the experience of its visitors. Through this synergy, we can create a future where health and tourism go hand in hand, driving economic growth and enriching the lives of all who call Jamaica home. The UWI Mona Global Health Programs Initiative represents a beacon of hope and progress. It embodies our commitment to addressing the most pressing health challenges of our time through innovative research, comprehensive education, and community engagement. These programs will equip our future healthcare leaders with the knowledge and skills necessary to make a lasting impact on global health. The success of this initiative will be determined by the strength of our collaboration and partnerships. By working together across disciplines and sectors, we can create a robust framework that supports health and wellness for all. This launch signifies the beginning of a new era of cooperation and shared vision, where we can leverage our collective expertise to drive meaningful change. As we embark on this new journey, I urge each of us to remain steadfast in our commitment to health and wellness. Let us continue to advocate for policies and practices that promote health equity, and access to quality health care. Let us support initiatives like the UWI Mona Global Health Programs that strive to make a positive difference in the lives of individuals and communities. In conclusion, I am indeed confident that this initiative will set a new standard for global health education and practice. It is a testament to our unwavering dedication to improving the health and well-being of our people, not just in Jamaica, but around the world. Together, we can achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and create a healthier, more prosperous future for all. Thank you, and I do look forward to the remarkable achievements that will undoubtedly emerge from this initiative. May this launch be the first of many steps towards a brighter, healthier future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Senator Janice Allen, for that overview of what an initiative of this nature means to Jamaica and, more importantly, Western Jamaica as it relates to tourism and the interlinks between ourselves and foreign shores. It's time for edutainment. I learned that word earlier. At this point, I'm going to invite, we have some performance. It's an ensemble between the Montego Bay High School for Girls and Cornwall College. They'll be performing a piece that was written and directed by a UWI alumnus, Mr. Tayin Robinson. Help me welcome as they perform a global health reflection.
Doctor, if you come see me.
He's coming. Just have a seat, man. Just have a seat.
Nurse, me have one prescription. Me have one appointment for the one MRI.
Your appointment is 2 months from now. We have so much other people. Just have a seat, man. Doctor.
Yes, yes.
What we going about the patient for the surgery today?
Alright, let me make a call and me tell you what we have, alright?
Okay, because we don't have any equipment.
I've been sitting in the same seat for 3 days now. No room not available.
There's no bed as yet. As soon as we get a bed, we'll give it to you, man. As soon as we get a bed.
In the heart of Montego Bay, where the people's needs run deep, we must push to stay alive, cause the healthcare system, it get weak.
Our clinics need good services. Healthcare workers need a hand. Equipment shortage everywhere we turn. But it's a good thing. Cornwall Regional still standing strong.
So we must rise together, heal together, Hand in hand we'll make it through. From Jamaica's shores to the world's embrace. Our region strong, our hearts renewed. Rise together, heal together. Hand in hand we'll make it through. From Jamaica's shores to the world's embrace. Our vision strong, our hearts renewed.
We are standing outside the hospital where Minister Tufton and Principal Williams are in dialogue as they have heard the intense cry from the people of St. James.
Miss, not nice boat here. We need better healthcare system. This not nice.
We need more beds and more equipment for the children. Sitting in chairs waiting for healthcare all day.
Miss, look how people them a walk around like zombie. This not fair, man.
All their concerns lead to one thing. Their hope has been lost in the healthcare system. Now over here we have Minister Tufton
and you know we are listening to the cries of our citizens.
And the professional healthcare workers, we're listening to them as well.
Indeed, indeed. And that is the reason why the UWI has started its global health initiative.
Right. Now the Global Health Initiative, while we find our bold, our Global Health Initiative is here to expand the capacity and train more healthcare workers. Not only that, it will satisfy the need of the great demand that we see in our healthcare system. So with that, we need more doctors, we need more nurses,
more immunologists,
more pharmacists, more radiologists, image technologists. We need everybody at this point. So it's a good start, it's a great aim, and yeah, we're ready.
Indeed, it is a great aim. Not only will we be expanding, but once this phase is done, we will be ready to take on the world. The world will be coming to us, the University of the West Indies, Mona, to be trained and qualified. We are a world-class university situated in the top 1%. Yes, we will be training our professional healthcare workers. So we must rise together, heal together, hand in hand we'll make it through. From Jamaica's shores to the world's embrace, a vision strong, our hearts renewed. Rise together, heal together, hand in hand we make it through. From Jamaica's shores to the world's embrace, a vision strong, our hearts renewed.
From local heroes to global pioneers, building a future side by side. Brick on brick, we're building local healthcare with a brighter future where our vision resides. So we will
rise together, heal together, hand in hand we make it through. From Jamaica's shores to the world's embrace, a vision strong, our hearts anew. Rise together, heal together, hand in hand we make it through. From Jamaica's shores to the world's embrace, a vision strong, our hearts anew. Rise together.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was rather captivating. I think Mr. Robinson, who wrote this piece, is probably going to get into some trouble. I don't know, Mr. Tufton. Happy when I saw outbursts of laughter, which was good. At any point, though, I mean, entertainment of this sort, the endorphins are flowing, and certainly was welcome. It was well done, and let's just put our hands together again as we thank them for that amazing presentation. Thank you. Our next speaker is going to be the Deputy Principal acting for the Mona Campus, University of the West Indies. Help me welcome Professor Marvin Reed as he speaks to us on the overview of the UWI Mona Global Health Programs. Professor Reed?
Never mind, young man. That's what happens when you're vertically challenged. All right, colleagues, I will not follow my principle and give you that long list of protocol. Sufficing to say, welcome to you all. Now, Principal indicated that he was going to make his speech relatively short. I think I'm going to beat him because guess what? He already delivered my speech and the edutainers already told you all that you needed to learn about the global health strategy. So really and truly, all I have to say is thank you all and sit down. But no, we're going to be rising together as our edutainers spoke a while ago. So colleagues, it now befalls on me the task to elaborate on what our global health program entails. However, to get a better appreciation of our global health strategy, please permit me, Dean Taylor, I know you always ask for extra time, please permit me a few minutes to establish the context, all right? I'm fully aware that some of the contextual factors has been shared before by our principal and all our previous speakers. I know that to many of you, especially as you reside in the tourist capital of the Caribbean, and some may say the world, may think of global health programs as programs designed for foreigners to experience wellness or health. To some, it may be exotic courses that exposes students to rare or not so rare tropical diseases. To others, it may refer to offshore medical facilities that train students for the export market. The truth is that global health encompasses all of the above elements and more. In fact, global health has emerged as a specific discipline in the health sciences that embraces the concept of health equity, justice, and human rights for all. In short, it refers to structural and functional frameworks that promote health and wellness for all people, utilizing culturally appropriate delivery. Within this construct, global health is classically viewed as having three domains, namely education, research, and practice. Our next consideration, and Minister Tufton is here, and I'm sure he will agree with me on the veracity of this statement, that good health and good quality health care delivery is fundamental. Indeed, it is vital to an individual and national and international development. Indeed, at the international level, health intersects all of the 17 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that all 191 UN member states have agreed to try and achieve by the year 2030. And one may ask, why are these goals important? Well, there is international consensus that the attainment of these goals will alleviate poverty, hunger, and lead to a better quality of life for all. In fact, while health as a pride of place is goal number 3, which reads, ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all ages, the other 16 goals are directly related to the health or will contribute to health indirectly. So colleagues, we have agreed that there's an international consensus. But what say we at the national level? We often hear cries in Jamaican media landscape that we want justice whenever the public perceives that there is injustice. But health, we know that election is near when health starts dominate the headlines. Well, health is often dominated by service quality issues. Over in recent times, I think the Jamaican public has experienced how impactful good public health services are to the country's national development and to their own bread and butter issues. It wasn't too long ago that chikungunya raged through the Jamaican society to such an extent that the private sector organization of Jamaica reported that up to 60% of the workforce was affected and estimated that at least 13 million man-hours and $6 billion in revenues were lost. Even more recent, it even felt like yesterday, we saw how the COVID pandemic affected our lives and livelihood through death, hospitalization, lockdowns, canceled travels, supply chain issues, and so on. These two examples therefore illustrate in no uncertain terms the nexus between health, wellness, and national development. The Jamaican health sector is undergoing a transformation. As part of this transformation, there is a systematic upgrading of our hospitals and health facilities. There's a greater emphasis on primary healthcare model, thus making good healthcare more accessible to the population, despite what you may hear or see in the current media landscape. In fact, the Medical Association of Jamaica just recently, just 2 weeks ago, in the first week of June, spent quite a bit of time, 4 days in fact, discussing and articulating how the healthcare system could be made more resilient. And implicit in these deliberations is a tacit acknowledgement of the need to develop our man-force capacity. So coupled with the structural changes occurring in the health system is the fact that the disease burden is shifting. And with this shift, the demands placed on the health systems are changing. The non-communicable diseases are becoming more common, and the complications from these diseases, in addition to trauma, are causing severe strain on the system. So, Dean Taylor, what do these contextual factors have to do with our global health programs, one may ask? Well, the University of the West Indies Global Health Strategy has been developed and is being rolled out within the framework of the United Nations 2030 Developmental Agenda and our own AAA strategy of access, alignment, and agility. This strategy aims to prepare our graduates to function in both the international and local health system, providing leadership and quality health care that we all deserve. The strategy is built on 4 pillars. The first is to maximize the existing capacity for training of health professionals and expand, and this is important, and expand our training footprint across Jamaica. We will also develop new global health training products within the UN 2030 framework that increases access and participation by students, which will enable them to develop the skill and competencies to provide leadership and quality health care. We will also, as the third pillar, create a platform to foster globally competitive and innovative and relevant research through local and international collaborations to address global health issues. And more importantly, Principal Williams, I know this goes to your heart, contribute to the financial sustainability of the UWI Mona campus. Let us examine in some more detail our first pillar. Dean Thame will tell you that the Faculty of Medical Sciences provides training in basic medical sciences, diagnostic imaging, nursing, physical therapy, dentistry, medicine, and pharmacy, and has currently enrolled in the order of about 3,200 students in the undergraduate level. In phase 1, we plan to expand these numbers starting this academic year. And for those of you who are not familiar with the university cycle, our academic year starts the 1st of August. We plan to expand this year, first with our nursing program right here at the Western Jamaica Center. Initially, we plan to increase by 100% our intake of nurses and to increase at our sister Mona campus by about 33% in academic year 25-26. So that's for nursing. For medicine, we plan to increase our medical students intake capacity by about 40%. Many of you would have heard Minister Tufton earlier this year mentioning that one of the challenges or barriers to accessing training in the health system has been student financing. And the government has committed $2.5 billion and counting towards remedying that scenario. So we anticipate that by increasing our capacity, we will actually have the students to take up those slots. Our diagnostic imaging intake, we project to increase by about 40%, pharmacy by 33%, and dentistry by about 15% over the next year or two of our academic year. The training of health professionals has 2 major components: the classroom or didactic component, and the experiential or apprenticeship clinical components. These clinical components require partnerships with the health system both public and private. Within this context, we welcome the announcement and plans by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to expand the healthcare facilities across the island. The extra capacity so generated will facilitate the expanded clinical training of our health professionals. We recognize that a contributing factor to urban migration is available of opportunities in urban centers, whereas jobs and social amenities and training opportunities are more well developed. So consequently, our principal, although he's from this side of the town, currently resides in Kingston. So we want to redress that. The UWI recognizes the need to make its resources accessible to underserved groups. And it was this thinking that influenced its decision to establish the Western Jamaica campus. Today, we are recommitting to that mantra, and we believe that training our health professionals closer to home will assist in mitigating the migration to Kingston. Unless they need to come to Arden, of course, but that's another question. In time, we plan to develop a purpose-built global medical academy on our lands near Cornwall Regional Hospital. But we felt that in the interim, we would maximize our existing capacity and establish a win-win with our partners and stakeholders here in the West. Speaking of partnership, we are also proposing in the coming academic year to launch new global health training products that will cater to the wellness market. This market is estimated in North America at about US $1.7 billion annually, and is driven by increased awareness regarding health and wellness among consumers, coupled with a desire for a healthy and active lifestyle among the population. These products will combine our expertise in health profession training, nutrition, psychology, psychiatry, biotechnology, and will seek to promote wellness tourism. Indeed, on my journey here, I saw a billboard advertising a beauty workshop. Imagine if the individuals here were trained in developing proper beauty products and the business end of it, as well as the health component of it, how much bigger it will become. Additionally, we will seek to formalize and restructure existing or current offerings in tropical health. Dr. Tracy Evans-Gilbert here has been teaching tropical medicine, tropical health in this side of the hemisphere for quite a long time. And what we will do is repackage that, expand that, and that kind of a partnership, global partnership, will of course be very good for all of us, since those kind of programs are residential in nature and will allow us to leverage the existing accommodation facilities in the Montego Bay community. As mentioned in my opening preamble, health training should not be viewed in isolation. In fact, in the training of any health professional, they gain competence in a multitude of disciplines. As a full-service university, the University of the West Indies, with its 7 faculties, are already involved, some quietly, some more noisily, in establishing a footprint in the West. For example, our noisy neighbor, our Faculty of Engineering, in collaboration with the China Harbor Engineering Company, CHEC, they're working together to provide world-class engineering education, research training, and service by increasing the technical capacity of the workforce in Jamaica and the region through the establishment of a material testing lab at Irwin on our university-owned land. This facility will initially serve as the main laboratory testing for materials for the Montego Bay bypass project. As a globally ranked university, we continue to build on research programs with a global reach. By expanding our footprints in the West, we plan to build a platform that will allow the participation of the Western community in innovative research that will benefit them both locally and internationally. Additionally, the university is cognizant that we are a publicly funded university. And within this regard, along with the expansion of our health profession training, we will increase our community engagement. Over the years, the Center for Community Outreach and Development formerly the Mona Social Services of UWI, and the UWI Community Film Project, has been engaging several marginalized communities in St. James through our support from the Western Jamaican campus. Some of the communities that have benefited from our intervention include Glendevon, Norwood, Salt Spring, Flankers, and Irvine. Community members, including at-risk youths and vulnerable residents, have benefited from our various outreach and social intervention initiatives aimed at improving their own lives and livelihood. The community engagements have contributed to social cohesiveness and facilitates a greater throughput and uptake of educational products, and thus, from a university perspective, strengthen our supply chain. Some of the existing engagement include the UWI Township Scholarship, of which one scholarship is dedicated to the Glendevon community since 2019. We have done life skills motivational sessions with teenage mothers. We have done edu-lecture sessions where UWI lecturers actually go and give talks within the community. We have corner reasoning sessions, and we have film and video production training, especially underwater training, which has a great degree of tourism potential. So colleagues, friends, in summary, the expansion of our health profession training should be viewed as UWI recommitment to the citizens of Jamaica to increase access by responding to the needs of our constituents. But since we live in a global village and being served by a global university, we are also responding to the needs of the international community as well. In other words, global health is local health. It also serves as a recommitment to you, our Western partners, as we collectively strive towards a more egalitarian society. We recognize that we cannot fill the demands with the snap of a finger, but assure you that as we are in the Olympic season, that the relay has started with our nurses on the first leg. And Western Jamaica, with its tremendous potential, its people, its environs, will provide the ideal track that will allow us to mind the goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Professor Reed, for that outline in depth, breadth, and quite expansive in terms of the overarching training capabilities of a program of this nature in Western Jamaica. I feel excited. I don't know about you. I think the way he ended in terms of the Olympics and paralleling that with the relays was also very interesting. And we're all quite excited at the success of a program of this nature. So just give him a round of applause for me, please, just for outlining that so eloquently. Thank you so much. Moving along, we're going to have now the official launch of the UWI Mona Global Health Program by our Minister of Health and Wellness. Though somewhat challenged, we're happy he's here. Help me welcome the Honorable Christopher Tufton.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are you hearing me? All right, so first of all, I must say that after my valiant effort to be here, I didn't expect to be beaten up by, university students. The script seemed to have been written by Senator Allen. I believe you had something to do with the script. Having looked at the agenda here, I was given 5 minutes. I'm not coming all the way in this state to speak for 5 minutes. So you're going to have to give me 10 to 15. How is that? Because I have a vision for health, and I want to share it with you. This is a very important occasion. So first of all, I want to recognize my colleague and friend, Deputy Prime Minister Chang. Of course, my other political colleagues, Mayor, good to see you, sir. And I know you have Senator Allen under good control and care, right? They look like neighbors, right? Yes. Senator Allen, Principal, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Costas, good to see you, sir. And Dr. Bruce, my friend and colleague, and all others who are here, Chamber President and others. So I want to thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity, and I want to say as a start that I fully endorse this event because it is so important and it's really dear and near to me personally. And I'm going to give you a slightly philosophical perspective before I get into some of the reasons why I think this is so important. Firstly, as an academic myself in a former life, this gentleman and I taught in the Department of Management Studies. And in fact, we went to the same school to pursue doctoral studies, Manchester Business School in England. So we go way back. It is impatient of debate that academic institutions ensure that they remain relevant to the challenges of the time. And the environment in which we exist today, in a post-COVID era, if we were to use COVID as a benchmark, is a very different environment that existed pre-COVID. Even though a lot of the challenges are the same, some are now a lot more important to the typical person. I've always said that universities and colleges, and in the context of development, must seek not just to achieve academic journal publications for credit, but seek to apply research to solving the problems of the time. And in the context of Jamaica, in a developing context, a small developing state context, the approach to satisfying a market with an increasing health profile challenge, where, according to a documentary that we were involved in, people are actually dying young, more below 75 years old. Mortality rates are increasing, premature mortality, and chronic lifestyle-related diseases are expanding, and the government is trying to cope with that by expanding infrastructure. The real weak link to our efforts as a people, as a country, which we have to combine our efforts around, is the people that will serve the needs of the population in public health in this instance. Prof quoted some data which I want to elaborate a little on, and he was off a bit. The World Health Organization actually says that by 2030, the world needs to train another 18 million healthcare professionals in order to keep up with demand. And this post-COVID environment that we are now faced with, where people approach work a lot differently, and the need for better health care, because health is a very topical issue, may see even a greater demand in different areas of health. Within Jamaica, we have seen since 1991, some 50% of our clinicians, doctors, migrating, and 2/3 of our nursing staff migrating. You can almost guarantee that every class of 300 that you train, within 5 years or so, maybe 200 are going to find their way. Some may say to greener pastures, others may say to a more economically viable environment. And so, to my mind, there are some undeniable truths that we have to accept as we seek to address both the philosophical, which is satisfying the needs of our population to remain relevant, but also some very practical application of solving the problems of our people. And those undeniable truths, I think, needs to be reconciled with, so it changes our orientation, which makes a launch like this relevant. The first I see here is that we do train to export. Whether we accept it or not is a reality. We must be almost assured, one way or the other, that 2/3 of who we train are going to migrate. And we must actually be proud of it, because it means that so many others want our people. It can be looked at in a negative way, it can be looked at in a positive way. And it is in the positive that the opportunity is created, like the one that we are now embracing. The second is that demand countries, who we happen to be close to, North America being the biggest demand one, have very little concern for conventions and agreements around healthcare worker movement, mobility, and retention. All of us, 200 plus countries, signed the WHO convention around not recruiting if it leads to hardship on the host country's population. None of us stick to that convention. And the larger developed countries are the worst offenders, even when they issue travel advisory about the quality of health in our country. And I'm not being critical, because it is the right of people to do what they think is in their best interest. But we have to accept that as an undeniable truth and determine how we confront with that. The third is that labor is the most mobile that it has ever been globally. You can't stop it. There is no policy you can put in place to deal with it. So if you know it's mobile, then what is the response to that? And that small island states will always be the most vulnerable, particularly the ones with the reputation of training high quality personnel, human resources. And it's not just about health, it's about almost all the critical sphere of training. And we see that in Jamaica. And then the other fifth, the undeniable truth, is that we are always, if we try to do it on our own, be limited by our capacity to be totally independent in this regard. And I really want to repeat that to the status quo, because there are people who believe, some people, I don't think they're in this room because you're here to embrace this concept, that somehow, because we have 75 years of reputation and we have done absolutely well, it means that we can travel alone. The world is not like that anymore. And the quicker we accept it, the quicker we will remain relevant. There are 109 offshore universities in the region. There are over 400 globally. And they are collaborating around different programs of training and are extremely successful at it. And indeed providing a much more valuable service to the world, to humanity, than those who feel that because they're a marquee brand, they must just be closed shop and siloed in terms of their approach. It is a thought that we need to perish if we are to remain relevant for the new dispensation. And so the real issue for me, and I'm at 5 minutes now, so give me 5 more, is the real issue for me. I'm very passionate about it, and I've been 8 years in this portfolio. I can talk with my eyes closed because as an academic, I've studied it, and I think I understand some of the issues, and I have good advisors. The real issue is how we approach training and the threats or the risks that we now confront in a new dispensation. Is it an opportunity? Is it a threat? And I challenge us here, principal and the team, to convert the mindset from perceiving this as a threat to the global initiative that represents a huge opportunity. And that means dismantling what is the traditional mindset and behavior and approach towards it. And as a result, I think this represents that. So we are training for export. It's something we must accept. Partnerships are key. It's something we must accept. Embracing technology to adjust and tweak how we determine and design training is something we must accept. You know, I toured many health systems throughout the US in an attempt at partnership last year, and I learned a lot, and I'll just mention one, that the use of technology through simulation has gradually replaced practical clinical rotation. In Jamaica, I think you are allowed up to about 20-25%. In Hartford, Connecticut, you can go up to 50%. They have mannequins now, when you cut them, they bleed. That's how sophisticated the technology is. And it gives you that practical experience. Not to mention the technology to train across borders using faculties that exist. Jamaica has a competitive advantage in this area. And we must embrace it and be proud of it. For all sorts of reasons, we are more known than most other countries, for good and bad, for herbs and spices, for scamming, right, Harris? Or for having good people. Good technology, right? Good technology. So reputational-wise, we have a selling card, a very big selling card. And the University of the West Indies, I think, as this principal said, ranks up there. So nobody is going to frown on an approach to collaboration. You must leverage that. That's very, very positive. We also are very close to the big supply and demand countries. I mean, North America is the obvious one, and we spoke to the dollars and cents, but talk about the people. The fact that they take so many of our workers, which we can't prevent, why not take a lot of their students, who would love to come here and to enjoy our shores while contributing to our own development, whether through the long-term tourism or through the clinical rotation that we need to support that. And then there's a cost advantage. You can train a doctor in Jamaica, as I understand it, for probably 40–50% of the cost than a medical student in the US, and still make a profit, principal. It's just logical. Right, 10%. It's just logical. Now, let me touch quickly as I end on the policy component of this. We embrace, the government of Jamaica, Andrew Holness government, myself as a person on the Bridge for Health, embrace the concept of partnership for expansion of training, not just as an economic opportunity, but as a survival strategy. Because if you look at the current state of play in the Jamaican context, you'll recognize that we do run a risk of building hospitals and have nobody to staff them. We do. It's a practical reality that we must confront. And it's not just a question of training more locals, because unless we have clinical rotation space, unless we have faculty, especially for nurses training, we are restricted. We can't turn out beyond a certain number unless we expand the field and embrace the partnerships that I spoke to earlier. So it is a survival strategy. And that's the relevance of a university changing its mandate to apply this approach. You are pursuing global health, not because it's prestigious, because you have to remain relevant to the demands and the needs of the people of your country. And if you want to make some money in the meantime, that's fine too, because I know you need it, right? So what are we doing? We have announced recently a $2.5 billion scholarship program. That's the largest scholarship program that has ever been announced by any government to train in a particular field. $500 million a year for the next 5 years. That starts in September. Next month, thank you. Next month, we will advertise in the paper, full page ads, all the categories of healthcare that we are willing to offer these scholarships to. And it could be people currently studying, people planning to study, and it could be studying here, studying elsewhere. And by the way, we have to demystify what healthcare workers mean. It's not just doctors and nurses. In fact, our work that we will put out soon shows 26 categories of workers who fall in the healthcare field. The biotechnologists who will fix the machines, that's the School of Engineering, the healthcare managers at the Mona School of Business, the pharmacists, the lab techs. So it's a much broader scope to run a plant like Cornwall Regional Western Children, which will have 750 beds, maybe 40–50 specialties, 15 operating theaters. And if you take the entire western coastline from St. Ann all the way to Hanover, you're talking about maybe 1 million people who have to be served, not to mention foreigners who will come in and benefit. That's the kind of challenge that we have to confront and deal with. And so we need all the different specialties. In October of this year, we're going to be hosting a career fair at the National Arena, Ministry of Health. And we're going to put on display all the 28 categories of healthcare. We're going to bring in all the 6 formers from school, anybody else who wants to come, because we believe that part of your role, Mr. Principal, collaborating with us, is to expose the population to what are the professions, what are the career choices, and the options in healthcare. Because a lot of people don't know. And they would become interested if we were to expose them to those things. So we're going to put in the counselors and so on. You'll hear more about that. So we're offering these scholarships. We're also building out infrastructure. Again, despite the criticisms, which is fair game in the art of war, No other government has built more healthcare infrastructure since independence than this government. And I say it without fear of contradiction. The build-out that is taking place in St. James. Today I went to a retreat and we spoke to the Western region about Western child and adolescent. Yes, it's a gift from the Chinese. We're putting some money too. That facility over the next year will have to engage 1,200 employees, 700 nurses, 120 doctors, different specialties, 99 porters to push, not to mention all the other areas of specialty. It will be a brand new facility, 5 operating theater, 220 beds. And Cornwall beside it will also be brand new. Nothing in Cornwall will be used. And that's 450 beds. That's going to be a health campus, which offers significant opportunity for training. We're doing the same thing at Spanish Town. We're going to do it at St. Anne's Bay. We're doing it at Maypen. All of this infrastructure that is being built out will add to the stock for training and for clinical rotation. And will also provide, hopefully, an opportunity for work and so on. And we're doing that. The third are the bilateral agreements that we are signing based on this new philosophical outlook. And this is my final point. So last 3 weeks ago, we signed an agreement with the government of the Philippines. And I don't know if you know about the Philippines, but they are one of the largest trainers of healthcare workers. I mean, they turn out probably 10,000 each turn. And if you go to places like the UK and the US, Filipino workers, nurses in particular, are the dominant feature. They're almost like Cuba. I think they're bigger than Cuba in terms of the numbers they turn out. They have very high quality standard. They are English speaking. Their standards are similar to ours. We have signed an MOU with them. We're sending a delegation there later this year. And we're going to be collaborating on 3 fronts. One, we're going to send some of our trainees there for clinical rotation if we don't have enough space here, starting with our specialist nurses. We're going to exchange faculty to increase the ratio of faculty to student. So faculty from Philippines are willing to come here or to utilize technology to increase their cadre. And thirdly, the last but by no means the least option, we're going to recruit. We're going to recruit. We're going to hire Filipino workers, healthcare workers to come so that when we build our hospitals, we don't have an issue as we do now. We do that with Cuba. We have over 300 Cubans here now that are in our system, many of them, most of them nurses. We signed an agreement 3 months ago with Nigeria. We have had Nigerian nurses here before, and there are discussions now with India and so on. I am not challenging this initiative because I want you to lead it. I'd prefer not to be doing these things. What government will not allow is for us to build hospitals and can't fill them. And we're going to have to do it in this way or the other ways, or combine our efforts to ensure that it works. So ladies and gentlemen, this issue is impatient of debate. It has to happen. There is no choice. It's not an issue of economics, it's an issue of survival in the first instance. But the model is also quite viable. And anybody who pushes back against this really are doing so without the vision and the foresight as to what is required to remain relevant. The only thing I'd say in closing is that we must ensure that standards are maintained. We have a reputation, and that's those standards. So the nursing council, the medical council, those collaborations are going to be important. The government stands ready to be a part of this. Denzel knows my view. I've been advocating for this for many years. We had a pilot program with the UK where we sent our nurses there to train. We have one with China. We sent 25 nurses and 2 faculty there for clinical rotation. Those went well. We're having difficulties with some of the other countries like North America because their healthcare system is so fragmented. We have to deal with states or institutions. But I think it would be far easier for a university to deal with a University of Miami than for a Jamaica government to try to deal with the state of Florida, especially if Trump is in the White House. Let me not say that. But the truth is, institution to institution, is a far better arrangement than government to government, particularly in a fragmented system. So I really want to encourage you to move on this and to expect as much support as we can. You already have $500 million to apply for funding with, and I have no issues with your students getting some of that, as long as you have the right students and the right areas of study. And we have met and spoken on this before, so it's all there. But I think the government is very happy about this, and we will continue to support it. So ladies and gentlemen, I was told to declare. So I now declare the UWI Mona Global Health Initiative launched. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, madam, good.
Thank you so very much, Minister Tufton. That was amazing. The governmental commitment to this initiative is clear. And with that, the success of this global initiative here in Western Jamaica is going to be quite successful. And I think in the near future, Prof. Reed will be a leader in the training of healthcare workers. Thank you so much for sharing, and that was well received. And I'm sure we're going to take you up on all the offers coming through the management of the university. So the program is officially launched. I just want to acknowledge that online online, I want to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Tomlin Paul, who is our deputy principal. Happy you're able to join us, sir. I hope you're hearing. And there is positivity in the West. We're excited. There's going to be a great initiative that was just launched, and I'm sure it's going to be successful as a leader in the Western Hemisphere. Thank you so much for the governmental support and for all the stakeholders that have bought into this idea to make this global initiative a success in the very near future. I'm just going to change the program a little in terms of my closing remarks and the unveiling of the sign. The unveiling will follow my remarks, and the selected guests will be ushered through or exit to the right, well, my left, to the area, all right, where the unveiling will be done. It will also be streamed on the monitors in the room, so those that are willing or want to stay back, you can stay here to observe that digitally. All right, that's clear? All right, so as we come to the end of this formal part, I'm really very thrilled, excited to see this moment in Western Jamaica. The Pillars of Global Health stands on the general principle of people, health for all peoples everywhere. And within the commentary and the remarks of this afternoon, this evening's proceedings rather, it was clear that there's commitment within the training institution, there's commitment in terms of the community at large, and there's commitment on the governmental side that will fuel and will certainly lead to success of this global initiative here in Western Jamaica. I dare say, as a proud alumnus of the University of the West Indies, studied extensively for a number of years, I can say that, you know, our motto, a light shining or rising rather in the West, it's so apt that we are in the West, it's a light rising in the West, and it parallels our own motto of the University of the West Indies. Now, the university started a number of years, well over about 60 years now. 70? Sorry, 76. Thank you so much, Dr. Reed. It's a central theme at the outset is that you have a university that's rooted in the Caribbean, but had global impact. That was there from the beginning. And with this initiative, we can see how we've grown, how we've progressed. And certainly we're stamping our mark ultimately in the future, in the near future, I think, with a successful global initiative program. So I want to thank everyone for staying through this afternoon's proceedings. and for staying the course, and certainly for, spending the time here with us this evening at this very, very important occasion that we're excited to have this initiative launched in the West. Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. So I'm reminded, so at this point, those that are going for the unveiling may leave and be ushered to the area. And the others may remain in this room to see it digitally here. And then we're invited for refreshments, I'm told, on the outside afterwards. So have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much.